Hi, my name is Chris. I'm from Excite Audio, and today I'll be talking about the 6 steps to creating your dream car audio system. The first step will always be replacing the car speakers because this is where the music comes out from. There are a lot of different types of car speakers in the market. I mean, ranging from a very low price point all the way to a really expensive price point. The difference between all these speakers is that they are made with different type of materials and of course the technology. Hence, they are priced really differently. But at the end of the day, it really depends on where you want to bring your game to. Alright, so we're going to start with this first speaker. This is the most wallet-friendly speaker. It's a very simple construction meant to replace your original car stereo speakers. The reason why they can manufacture this at a very low price point because of it's just basically very simple construction with polypropylene cone as well as the tweeter. So the tweeter is made of PEI material, which is light, but it does the job, right? If you install this, it will definitely sound better than your your original car speakers. And of course, the main focus on this is that you might want more bass, but you're not getting out from your car. Replacing with this type of entry-level speaker with high sensitivity can actually bring you the extra oomph. So now let's talk about the mid-range speakers. So these are the Infinity speakers, and this I would say slightly not too wallet friendly, but you get the performance that you actually want. And these speakers are really made same thing with polypropylene, but of course they made it lighter. I mean, there are a lot of different qualities in the market, but this is also really easy to install and it will give you the sound that you want. The reason being that these are really high sensitivity speakers. A little bit of power goes in, it gives you a really good and great sounding effect, right? And of course, better clarity because these are basically textile made tweeters, right? It will give you a really nice soothing sound. Normally mid-range speakers, you probably get this little box over here, and this is actually the crossovers, right? It's basically to split the frequencies between mid-woofers and the tweeters. If you ask for my feedback, I think the comparison between the entry level and the mid-range speakers is actually pretty huge, and it's actually really justifiable for the extra dollars that you actually pay. And of course, these can be amplified or without, right? Because why I selected this speaker because it's of this high sensitivity where you can even just plug it in, play it from your original player, and it still will sound great. Alright, so for the third one, I would categorize this as high-end speakers. This would cost more than 2,000 ringgit, and of course the difference between all of this is that this has a very special technology, definitely made in France, right? And the cone is basically made of flex wood, which brings naturality to the music, right? It's also a very high sensitivity speaker, but I would tell you to have it amplified to actually get the full out of this. And it comes also with a bi-amping crossover, wherein you can have 4-channel amplifier to divide the power to the mid-woofers as well as the tweeter. And of course, the tweeter as well. This is an amp profile tweeter. It has a wider sound dispersion. It's basically made of aluminium and magnesium material, giving you a really nice high notes. Aesthetically, when you look at the mid-range versus the high-end one, it's basically, I would say you can just tell it by the cone, by the construction, the size of it, basically the depth, right? It's basically constructed in a much better way. And of course, the material, like the flex cone, it's more pricey than when you compare to a polypropylene type of material. So if you are starting out on your car audio journey and you want something that is really wallet friendly, you can actually start with this Alpine SPJ 161CS, which just costs you around 300 ringgit, right? But if you're wanting more and you want to prolong your journey, or you want to have more upgrades on the later stage, you can go for the Infinity RUF 6530 CDX at about 700 to 800 ringgit. But if you really want a really good singer like Mariah Carey, I would suggest you to go for the Focal PS165 FXE, providing if you have a really fat wallet. this would bring you to another new level. So now for the second step, let's choose a player, right? If you are in the market to just replace your old player and you just want probably like a USB function or AUX, if your car originally comes with a single DIN player and you do not want to spend too much money on it, you can just replace it with a newer one, right? But of course, I think you need to have at least the USB functions over here, so at least you can put some of your favorite songs inside this player. This has really basic tuning functions, but of course it fits the bill. It costs less than 200 ringgit while providing slightly better sound quality compared to your original car player. But if you're gonna go for something, you want something more, you want the latest technology, you want a touchscreen, you want to install your reverse camera so that you can have better view of back of your car, but yet you will still want really good tuning functions, you can definitely get it from the 2D players. Not only that, this also has a Android Auto and Apple CarPlay system built in this. And of course, better sound quality because it definitely comes with a better processor. And this would definitely cost you more than 2,000 ringgit, but of course, the functions speaks for its price.
Step number 3, amplifiers. Right, so I'm just going to breeze you through this. This is an Audison SR4 amplifier, and this is a Class AB amplifier. And looking at it, the size is actually big. Then now I'm going to show you that this is a Class D amplifier, which is the Audison SR 5600. Notice that the size is actually smaller than the Class AB. So now you know that these are the difference in the size between a Class AB and a Class D. But I want to ask you a question. Which one do you think produces much more power? If you're gonna guess the bigger one produces much more power, you are actually wrong. This little Class D amplifier here produces twice as much power as this Class AB. The reason being that, you know, different technology, and Class AB amplifiers existed way before, but Class D amplifiers, I would say, is considered the newer product in the market. But however, if you have nice boot space and you want to show off this amplifier at your car boot area, the Class AB amplifier can actually suit your application. But if you want a stealth and you want more power, the latest technology, then the Class D amplifier would basically suit your need. At the end of the day, the reason of you choosing an amplifier is to basically give more power to your car speakers, to give you better volume, give you better details in the music. Hence, whether you choose the Class AB or the Class D amplifier, you'll be safe.